Jason.
Hello, Mr. Craig.
Hello, Mr. Jason. We got a good one. Do you want to say who it is?
Yeah. Today we are going to protect your assets. Renegade legal advice with Miss Pifko.
Oh, well, dab that one up.
Yep.
Buckle up, it's the Insurance Dudes Podcast.
Caw-caw.
Hey.
Caw-caw.
What is going on?
How's it going?
Great intro. Awesome. Do you guys always do something weird like that, or am I special?
Pretty much.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
90% of the time it works half the time.
True.
Well,
Good.
It's
It's a real
something like
statistic he made up for this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Definitely worked.
It
Are
did?
you leaving?
Nope. I was going to leave, but I'm not anymore. How's it going?
Good. I'm awesome.
Yeah?
As usual.
You're one of the few repeat guests.
Oh, really?
Yes, Liz. You're special. You're in a very elite group.
I'm honored. Thank you.
First dudette of the I dudes.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sure dudettes are in the minority too.
There's a lot of dudettes.
Really? That's cool.
Definitely dudette listeners.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it. There needs to be more dudettes,
Yes.
It's true.
like in general.
Yes.
Just across the world.
Yes, in business.
In business. Why is that? Well, we know.
Well, let's not get into that topic because you might lose some listeners, and you don't want that. So.
Who would we lose? Which side?
All three of them.
Yeah.
By Facebook's count, there's like 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too
8
much?
that we know of,
Oh, there's a whole spectrum.
Yep.
So, welcome to the Insurance Dudes. It's awesome to have you. I don't laughing at me. It's from Friends.
Please don't do that anymore.
No, it's okay. Anyway, we'll move past that. So, so how about that?
That works.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't see that one.
I don't know.
Okay, that'll work. That's PG.
So the other one is not PG.
Good. Again, let's move on.
Let's move on. All right, great.
Craig doesn't even know what he's doing.
I didn't know what I was doing. Does it count if you didn't know what you were doing?
No. Yes, it
I
does.
guess not. Well,
Liz,
in my field, it doesn't matter, but
There you go.
we'll give you a pass.
it's fully legal. So tell us a little of your background for those that didn't hear I think it might have been the very first episode a long time ago.
That may have been, with all its technical difficulties.
It was tough. It was much different back then. Now we've come so far. 'Cause
I
now
know.
yeah.
Your new setup is very impressive. So a little bit about me. I'm Liz Pifko. I own a business and IP law firm that primarily serves small businesses and online entrepreneurs with their legal needs. So, contracts, business formation, intellectual property, things like that, general business transactional matters.
I love it.
Wasn't that a good elevator speech?
That was good. How many times a day do you say that one?
A day? Not more than 15.
You got it nailed.
Nailed.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
Appreciate
Nailed it.
that.
So one of the things we like to really do, a big, I guess, a significant portion of our audience is our insurance folks, right? Dudes and dudettes. And so we want to bring stuff that will definitely, I don't know what,
Bring value.
Bring value. Yeah, bring value. So
I think he's having a stroke.
Yeah, I think I'm stroking out. I don't know what just happened there. So tell us, besides the background, tell us a little bit about how you've helped business owners and see things that they haven't seen or recognized before. You know, what are some common pitfalls or misconceptions that different business owners or even agency owners or sort of business owners have?
So there are lots of pitfalls that are common across like all industries, because people all start out in the same place, not knowing anything. Even if you went to business school, you don't know anything until you actually start doing whatever it is that you do. So, you know, when you start setting up a business, you are probably making lots of legal mistakes, probably from like day one. Like, you know, or before day one, just when you're like brainstorming names of your business, what should you call yourself? And you come up with something awesome. And, you know, maybe you go on your state Secretary of State or Department of Corporations or whatever your state department is called that deals with like business filings, and you do a search and you see that, you know, no one has taken it. So you go ahead and register your business under that name. And, you know, unknowingly, you're already violating someone's trademark rights because you didn't do a clearance search. So like from day one, you're probably screwing up. I'm not saying everyone is, but, you know, that's where it starts. And then, you know, you keep making these business decisions that are also legal decisions, whether you know it or not. So, you know, you go form your business. You don't know what type of entity you go with. You don't have a CPA to talk to, which is another, you know, big pitfall. You incorporate under the wrong entity. You don't follow the rules. You lose liability protection. So just from the very beginning, you see these like really, really common mistakes.
So for all businesses, what is that initial checklist that they should have? Obviously, a CPA.
Yes, absolutely.
Attorney, right?
Yes. Although, you know, CPAs are way cheaper than you think. And they at least give you a good start. So even if you don't want to consult with an attorney on day one, if you go consult with a CPA, they will kind of tell you some of those things that you might not be aware of, because they will help you choose the appropriate type of business entity depending on what you're going to do and which entity will be most advantageous from a tax perspective. And so whether that's an LLC or a corporation, and whether you want to be taxed as an LLC, an S Corp, or a C Corp, your CPA will kind of go through that with you. And then, you know, once you have that meeting and you kind of get an idea from a tax perspective, then you can go to an attorney and you already have a better understanding of, you know, what questions you want to ask and where you want to start the discussion, because your CPA already gave you that basic foundation. And then once you talk to one of us, we get into, you know, liability protection and what you need to do to actually take advantage of the corporate or LLC structure. So
to put it in perspective for folks, what kind of things can happen if you, if let's say you pick a name and somebody on the other side of the country has that same name and you didn't know, you incorporate, now what's going to happen? Like what could, I mean, yeah.
So if they own the trademark to that name and you're in the same or a similar industry to where a customer or client can reasonably be confused about which business they're dealing with, there's an element of confusion there which gives right to a trademark infringement claim. So they might send you a cease and desist and say, well, cease and desist using my name because this is infringement and we're going to sue you. So one of the things that can happen is you get that and you have to rebrand from scratch. And, you know, depending on how much effort and money and time you've put into this name, this can be a huge blow to a business to start over with like a completely new name. And if you want to take it to dispute, then it's going to turn into litigation. Or they might sue you anyway for damages, or they might try to get some settlement money out of you. And if you don't settle, then they'll sue you. So it gets pretty ugly pretty fast. So it's best to just clear that name first.
Yeah, sounds like
Because you want to avoid that. And if it happens in your first year, that's pretty bad, because you probably don't have the money for litigation at that point, like tens of thousands of dollars down the drain.
What if neither party has registered their trademark name?
Well, then there might be some common law trademark rights by the first to use it in the geographical areas where it was used. I don't really deal with common law trademarks. I usually
common law.
Yeah, like do it right or find someone else.
Right. Gotcha.
Like a federal trademark registration gives you exclusive rights to the name nationwide. It becomes incontestable after 5 years. If you want to do that, I can be your person. If not, if you just want to do state registration and common law, I don't really get into that.
Cool. So starting your business, how was that? You graduated from
Law school.
which law school? Which law school?
LSU law.
Oh, okay. Cool. And there may be some LSU fans on here.
Go
listening.
Tigers.
So, and then how did you go out into the world and create and build your business?
I started working for a bigger firm. So I clerked during law school, and after my first year and after my second year of law school. And then in my second year, I got a job offer from a downtown New Orleans firm to come work for them when I graduate. So I took it because, who wouldn't? Second year broke law student, nothing but debt to my name. So of course I took it, and I worked for that firm for a couple years. I eventually moved to another firm, same type of, litigation, trial work, representing big businesses, lots of household names that you probably know about, car manufacturers, and a lot of them you'll see on stationery and things like that. So I don't really want to disclose the list, but so that's the type of clientele we represented. But I didn't really, it got really bureaucratic, and I didn't enjoy it, and I didn't enjoy working with the type of people that I had to work with. So I got out because I knew I wanted to work with small businesses, and that's how I founded the firm.
So you're an entrepreneur trapped in a corporate attorney's job.
I was, not anymore.
Right. And so how was that? We've interviewed several people that were in the corporate world and then said, I can't do this. But there's a certain point where you think, holy shit, I'm going to give up this comfortable, every 2 weeks, get this good money, and go to getting no money.
Right.
Start scratch again. How is that, like, psychologically, and how did you do that to jump off that cliff?
Yeah, psychologically, it was very stressful and terrifying, and I had like my whole self-worth tied up in how much money I was making in this downtown job that like everybody wants. And so, I had to come to terms with, I thought my family had certain expectations of me. I thought my whole circle of friends would disown me if I did this, but at the end of the day, it wasn't what I wanted. So, I had to just sit down with myself and say, where would I be in 10 years if I'm still waking up at 5 a.m. every single day in 10 years from today, going into this same job, doing the same thing with these people? Would I be able to live with myself? And I decided, no, I probably wouldn't be alive at that point. Yeah. So I'm just going to do this for me, screw what everyone else thinks. I prepared myself. I educated myself on business and marketing, and I was really prepared when I finally said, I finally gave my notice.
And talk about that. How did you prepare for it, and what did you do?
Well, I took a lot of, online courses and did a lot of market research. I talked to other entrepreneurs. I talked to people I represented that were also my friends who owned businesses, and just to kind of give me the background info that no one will tell you. And I learned everything I could before I took the plunge. So I read lots of business books. I read books on accounting.
What was your favorite business book?
My favorite business book?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many.
Craig and I are big into Audible right now.
Big.
Really?
Digesting, eating.
I wear these things at Orange Theory, and I listen to Audible books, and they all get mad at me. You're not allowed to do that. And I said, well.
No, you're supposed to listen
Remove
to
me.
like techno,
Right.
Stop with
I
that
can't listen to the music over.
learning nonsense.
Was there a favorite business book that you read?
I'm trying to think, because I read so many. Like I started with the Lean Startup, which was awesome.
It's a really good book.
I read E-Myth, E-Myth
awesome.
Revisited. There is one called E-Myth Attorney. I read Profit First, which is on accounting. So if you haven't read Profit First, that's something I would recommend to everyone, because it kind of gives you a new perspective on things. Something that I've always done, but I didn't really know that was a thing that others were actually like transitioning to. So, oh my God, there's so many business books I read that I can't even think of any right now.
So you prepared. I mean, you studied, you prepared for this. What were some of the biggest pitfalls that you ran into, even though you prepared? And you're always helping the other business owners out prepare for those pitfalls now, right?
Yes.
So what did you run into?
Just a lot of, it's the human element in marketing and getting clients, and actually, managing expectations and dealing with clients that are very different personalities from me. So, dealing with the stress of that, and at the same time working on the actual work that I do, and also putting myself out there and networking and marketing online, which I was just getting into because I wanted this to be transitioning into like a virtual practice after a while. So it was just a lot of overwhelm. And the online marketing side of it was, at first, it was kind of, it's a different world from where I came from, because in the firm, we were just plugged into this marketing machine that they had already set up. So we never had to worry about that. Now, when you're on your own, you do have to worry about that.
About all of it.
Yeah, exactly. That was something I used to.
There's something, I think, a motif that comes up in a lot of these books, and like I'm juggling a few Audible books right now, but seven habits of highly effective people is a really good one. And one of the things that keeps coming up in there are these self-limiting beliefs, right? Mm-hmm. You were in that space where you're like, I got to leave this thing, or I'm gonna put the gun in my mouth, and you're just thinking day after day, can I do this? But then on the other side, there's this whole construct that's telling you, my parents are going to be disappointed in me. All these people are going to be disappointed in me if I go do this thing that I want to do. And isn't it amazing, this duality of emotion, right? And
yeah.
we let people control what we do and how we think because we're worried about what they're going to think, when it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it definitely takes a mindset shift. Like, yeah. If you're an employee and you start doing your own thing, like, you become a different person, partly because you have to, because your mind otherwise is just going to be divided against itself, and it can't sustain that. So you have to become a different person and just, do your own thing. I think I read 7 Habits, or either that or High Performance Habits, one of these habits books. I also read The Power of Habit, which was really good. Mm-hmm. And a lot of this is also in psycho-cybernetics. So I don't know if you guys read that one, but that's like where all the self-help books in this vein come from. So that was like the beginning of this type of self-help with psycho-cybernetics, and I love that book. But they're not really business books. They're more like personal development, or maybe I'm categorizing.
Well, but if you don't have your head straight, then you can't run a business.
That's true. That's true. You can't.
I mean, that's always our biggest obstacle, is our own wrestling with our own beliefs of what we can and can't do.
Oh yeah, and it takes so much energy. Like that was the other thing that I realized after a while, that like how much energy am I spending going back and forth about, whether this is the right thing to do, or should I do this, should I not do this, being unsure of myself. And, do I want to work with this person? Do I not want to work with this person? Is the money worth it? I just had to like switch out from that to just making decisions like really super fast and decide, move on, and just one after another. It's totally different. When you're an employee, you don't need to deal with that.
No.
Right. It's just they make the decision, you just do, right? But
yes.
You make the decision, and you have to be able to accept that a vast majority of the time it's the wrong decision, right? And that you can handle that, and you're going to learn from that decision and then move on, and you're not going to die, right?
Yeah. And if you learn from that, then it wasn't the wrong decision. It probably still took you in the general direction of where you want to be. You just have to course correct a little bit.
Right.
And you're always course correcting. That's another principle.
Just a straight line.
Yeah, that's another principle from psycho-cybernetics that I was talking about.
Oh, I am going to look at that one.
Look at it. It's awesome.
Or listen to that one.
What would you say is one of the hardest lessons you've learned, and how did you overcome it?
The hardest lessons? I think it would be to always just be myself and not try to be someone else that I'm not in order to, appeal to a clientele that would hate who I really am. And that goes back to that whole, expenditure of energy. Do I really have the amount of energy to be constantly pretending to be someone I'm not, to be someone who's like prim and proper all the time, and, try to act like the other attorneys that are probably usually a lot older than me. They all wear suits. They all have their brown leather furniture. They all talk a certain way and act a certain way. And, do I really want to pretend to be that just to get, a certain clientele that won't work with me, with my, purple hair and dropping F-bombs and just not caring about anything, as far as that stuff goes. And, it was a hard lesson because I kept pretending for a long time, and it was just always draining my energy. And, at the end of the day, I wasn't happy with what I was doing, the clients I brought on. I went to sleep knowing that I onboarded this client, and then I have to be this person that I pretended to be for the duration of this entire relationship.
Yeah.
And I just had to let that go and say, I'll work with whoever wants to work with me the way I am, or, that was my only option left at that point, because I didn't want to be someone I'm not. And it actually turned out for the better, because now I attract clients that actually want to work with me, and they get my sense of humor, and, they don't mind me posting memes all day, and, just being how I am.
Always our uniqueness that is we all, when you're young, you look at the weird quirks that you have, or the, I'm different because of this. And it's like, we're always trying to be like everybody else. But then you realize at some point in life, hopefully, that those little unique things, the weird things that you do, is what makes you special and unique. And it will attract people that have the same stuff as you, but maybe they're hiding it,
Yes, exactly. I thought it was going to be a disaster, but now clients are telling me, I am so glad that you're not like those old guys I was working with before. Not only because I know, about tech and how internet law works and, how to turn on a computer and things like that, but just, just being more like them in personality and values. And, I really get along with the millennial Gen Y crowd that a lot of the older guys don't. And it's
even the Gen X.
Yeah. I'm kind of in between. But they find it refreshing that they don't need to, feel like they have to be on their best behavior in this stuffy office with these stuffy people, because that's exhausting. And my clients don't want to be exhausted.
There's a lot of that in a lot of different industries, and even in our industry where it's somewhat antiquated in a lot of ways. Even, if you see the Flow commercials, the image of the insurance dude is a guy in a suit and, in a terrible suit, right in the bushes or whatever. I don't know what that's about. But this is fancy for me, a collared shirt. He's in his parents' basement there with the stuff on the wall and then his V-neck.
I have one shirt that I wear. It's literally, I bought 14 of them. I wear the same stuff so that I don't have to pick.
I read about how that really saves on, the decision fatigue and frees up your mind to think about other things. I love it.
I have one pair of sandals, one pair of shoes. I get the same ones every time now. Socks and everything else, but like one pair of pants. I have a couple different, the same one type of shorts, exact same color, 3 of them.
As long as your sandals aren't Crocs, it's all good.
I just grab it.
I would do that. I would do Crocs. I'm a nerd, but I do the old Nike sandals.
That's
I feel like
still okay.
Jesus a little bit in them. They're kind of like the old, the old Jesus type. They don't have. I don't like stuff between my toes. Is that what you got, Craig?
Yeah, I get the. I always get a pair. It's the cheapos that you get at the ABC stores in Hawaii.
See, I don't like those.
So they break
because it's between the toes. I don't want anything between the toes. I know it is my problem. Tell everybody I can't wear those. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, hey, before we wrap up, why don't you quickly tell the folks about this other unique thing, because I don't know that a lot of attorneys have a membership site and have resources that people can go to, look up, download stuff. I think it's pretty awesome that you've built this whole system. And how do they get there?
Yeah, so it's a site where there's a membership component that has like a legal course that takes you through all the legal issues that you need to know as a small business. Plus it has, 30 plus templates that you can work with, that you can implement in your business, from client contracts to, business formation documents like LLC operating agreements, corporate bylaws, things like that, IP assignments, all of that. There's another component to it that's just a straight up contract shop where you can just buy an individual template that comes with, in-text instructions and videos just walking you through it, kind of holding your hand paragraph by paragraph so you know what you're actually doing. There's a lot of document preparation services online that are super cheap, will not do that for you. So you don't actually know what you're signing on, whether it's any good for you. So that's what the videos are for. So that's the website. It's a more cost-effective option for a lot of these startups that contact me who can't really afford to work with me one-on-one, but they still recognize the need to, legally protect their businesses. Mm-hmm. So if that's you, the website is renegade-legal.com, and everything is there.
That's awesome. And is there anything that we didn't ask that we should ask you?
You should have asked about my Facebook group so I can plug it, and you didn't.
There we go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do you have a Facebook group?
I do. Are you not in there?
Yeah, I'm in there.
I thought you were in there.
You said that we're supposed to ask about it, so I'm asking about it.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So yes, I do have a Facebook group. You can find it on my profile.
What's the group called?
It's called Renegade Legal. It's after my template shop. So if you search that, or you can find it on my Facebook profile, there are links everywhere. So, I cover a lot of legal topics there. Everything from trademarks, copyrights, contracts, website legal, like privacy policies, and things always come up, and I post there a lot because that information just kind of gets lost on my public profiles because I put so many travel pictures and pictures of my dog and cat. So
yes,
thought a group would be more appropriate. It's searchable, it's full of videos. So definitely a good place to start. And if you're trying to get to know me a little bit, that's the place to do it. Also feel free to stalk my Facebook profile, and it's fully public, so anytime. Yeah, I don't care. I've got no boundaries there.
There you go.
Sounds good.
So if you were going to impart advice to others, and thinking back to when you went out and you asked a lot of questions to different entrepreneurs and how am I going to do this? What do you think was the number one piece of advice that you received that really helped provide that weather vane for you as you jumped off the cliff?
For me, it was probably to know my numbers. Crunch those numbers. I hate numbers by default. I didn't want to do it. I was completely scared and terrified of it. But,
Everyone, all of them.
I ignored it for a long time, kind of like how people ignore the legal stuff. I ended up losing a bunch of money because I didn't do my numbers right. So I finally got around to it. And, once you tackle something that you're really scared of, 100% of the time, it's not as scary as you made it out to be in your own mind when you are just riling yourself up and just, getting yourself into this downward spiral about the issue that you don't want to look at because it's so scary. And so I finally started looking at my numbers. I got really good at it. Now I have no problem with, accounting, bookkeeping, QuickBooks, but that was my number one, point of terror in business.
Feared the numbers.
Yes.
Now you're a mathematician.
Absolutely.
Accountant. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. Just go for it, right? Just
tackle what you're scared of.
Yeah. You have to. Because at some point you're going to have to face those numbers.
Yeah. Or whatever it is that you're not looking at that you should be. Just force yourself to look at it.
Yeah. Better to do it before it gets out of control.
Oh, yeah. Because then you'll need me. And that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the time they need you, then they won't be able to afford it. So
yeah, if you need me to clean something up, that's going to be very expensive.
Oof.
You want to be proactive about stuff, you can still get it done at a reasonable rate. But if you need me to clean it up, it's never pretty. So don't wait until then.
Don't wait. Well,
Don't
awesome.
wait.
Liz, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to have you here. I will not do this thing with my hands. And
thank you. You just did it.
No, it was. Bye. Thank you so much. It was great to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, Princess Wave. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
55% of insurance sales producers say that they have had little or no sales training. Us agents focus on marketing to drive activity and often overlook the sales presentation. Improvements in mindset, shifting focus, rapport, needs diagnosis, value building, creating buy-in, and overcoming objections lead to drastically better closing numbers. The solution? Enroll your team in September's Sales Summit offered by Agency Vault. We will even assess your team to see which of their sales steps need the most improvement. Head to agencyvault.com to sign up before it's full.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.